The silver spoon wasn't just in my brother's mouth. It was buried in my back. I stood in the middle of my parents' opulent living room, the scent of expensive lilies and floor wax choking me, as my father slid a single legal document across the mahogany table. He didn't look me in the eye. He looked at the woman sitting next to my brother, a woman he had known for exactly 6 months. "We've decided to transfer the deed of the lake house and the trust fund assets to Chloe," my father said, his voice as casual as if he were discussing the weather. "Leo needs a stable foundation for his new life. And Chloe, well, she's family now." I wasn't a stranger. I wasn't the rebellious child. I was Maya, the daughter who had spent the last decade working 60-hour weeks at the family firm to keep their lifestyle afloat. I was the one who canceled my own honeymoon to handle my mother's elective knee surgery recovery. I was the reliable one. And in one sentence, I had become invisible. To understand how we got here, you have to understand my brother, Leo. Leo is a professional dreamer. He's 32 years old and has started 5 businesses, all of which were funded by my parents, and all of which evaporated within a year. He has a way of tilting his head and looking vulnerable that makes my mother reach for her checkbook every single time. I, on the other hand, was the daughter who earned. When the family textile business hit a slump 5 years ago, it wasn't Leo who stayed up until 3 a.m. analyzing supply chain costs. It was me. I sacrificed my social life, my hobbies, and even my health to ensure the name Sterling still meant something in this town. My mother, Elena, always told me, "Maya, you're our rock. We don't have to worry about you." I used to take that as a compliment. Now, I realized it was a sentence. Because they didn't worry about me. They felt they didn't owe me anything. Then came Chloe. Chloe was 10 years younger than Leo, with a calculated, wide-eyed innocence and a wardrobe that cost more than my car. She met Leo at a club, and within 3 weeks, she was living in my parents' guest house. She called my mother Mama Elena by the 2nd month. She whispered about legacy and family expansion, while eyeing the jewelry on my mother's vanity. The tension reached a breaking point during a casual Sunday brunch. The table was spread with smoked salmon, capers, and the finest champagne. "Maya," Leo said, leaning back and stroking Chloe's hand. "We've been thinking. Since you're so successful with your own salary, you don't really need the inheritance Grandpa left for the firstborn grandchild, do you?" I froze, my fork halfway to my mouth. That trust was meant to be my safety net. Leo, it was Grandpa's specific wish. It's what I'm using to finally start my own independent firm. My mother chimed in, her voice soft but sharp. "Darling, don't be greedy. Chloe is expecting. They need a home. A real home. The lake house is perfect for a nursery." The world tilted. "Chloe is what?" Chloe gave a bashful, practiced smile. "We wanted to wait for the right moment to tell you. But with the wedding coming up, we need security. Your parents were so generous to suggest the transfer." I looked at my father. "Dad, you promised that house would stay mine." I put $50,000 of my own savings into the renovations last summer. I replaced the roof. I fixed the plumbing. "And we appreciate that, Maya," Dad said, finally looking up. "But Leo is the son. He carries the name. And now, he's providing the next generation. You have your career. You're strong. You don't need us like they do." The unfairness of it felt like physical heat rising in my chest. "You don't need us like they do." It was the ultimate punishment for being competent. That night, I didn't sleep. I paced my apartment, staring at the photos of us as children. I pulled out my phone and saw the family group chat blowing up. "Mom, so excited for the new chapter. At Chloe, I've booked the interior designer for the lake house nursery. We're thinking soft blues and creams." "Leo, thanks, Mom. You're the best. It's good to know someone in this family cares about our future." "Chloe, I feel so blessed to be part of a family that understands what family really means. Sparkling heart. I felt sick. I typed and deleted a dozen responses. Finally, I sent, Maya, I'd like my $50,000 back for the renovations then. If the house isn't mine, the investment shouldn't be either. The chat went silent for 10 minutes. Then my phone rang. It was Leo. Are you serious, Maya? He hissed the moment I picked up. You're going to nickel and dime your own brother while his fiancée is pregnant? How selfish can you be? You have a six-figure job. This is pocket change to you, but it's our life. It's not pocket change, Leo. It's my hard-earned money that I put into a property I was told was mine. Well, things change, he snapped. Mom and Dad realized that giving you everything just makes you colder. Maybe if you were more supportive, they'd feel differently. Don't bother coming to dinner on Tuesday. Click. A week later, I discovered the truth. I was at the office finishing an audit when I saw a notification on a shared cloud drive we used for family business documents. Leo had accidentally uploaded a folder labeled wedding planning. I shouldn't have looked, but I did. Inside were medical documents. There was no pregnancy. There was a receipt for a simulated ultrasound service used for theatrical purposes. There were also emails between Leo and Chloe discussing how to pressure the old man into signing over the assets before the truth came out about Leo's gambling debts. My heart hammered against my ribs. It wasn't just a preference for their son. They were being conned. And they were discarding me to facilitate the con. I drove to my parents' house without calling. I burst through the front door to find them having tea with Chloe, looking over fabric swatches for the lake house curtains. Maya, we told you we needed space. My mother started. He's lying to you, I said, my voice trembling but loud. I threw the printed emails and the fake ultrasound receipt on the table. There is no baby. There is only a gambling debt and two people who are stripping you blind. The silence that followed was deafening. I expected shock. I expected outrage. Instead, Chloe began to sob. Not a real sob, a delicate gasping sound. Leo put his arm around her. I can't believe you'd go this far, Maya. To forge documents because you're jealous? To attack a pregnant woman. I didn't forge them. Leo, I saw them in your drive. My father stood up, his face purple with rage. Enough. Maya, I knew you were competitive, but this is pathological. To accuse your brother of such a disgusting lie just to keep a house? Get out. Dad, look at the dates. Look at the clinic name. It doesn't even exist in this state. I set out, he bellowed. Until you can apologize to Chloe and Leo for this insanity, you are no longer welcome in this home. And don't bother showing up at the firm tomorrow. I've had your access revoked. Consider this your severance. I stood on the sidewalk in the rain, having lost my family, my inheritance, and my job in the span of 10 minutes. I realized then that you cannot save people who are addicted to their own delusions. They wanted the fantasy of the perfect son more than the reality of the loyal daughter. I went to my apartment and did something I should have done years ago. I stopped being the reliable one. I called the primary shareholders of the Sterling firm. I told them I was resigning effectively immediately, but I also pointed out that without my signature on the upcoming merger documents, a signature I was only authorized to give as the lead strategist, the deal would collapse, costing the family millions. Then, I called the contractor I had hired for the lake house. The project is canceled, I told him. And since the contract is in my name and the funds were mine, I want the liens placed on the property for unpaid materials immediately. My phone began to melt with notifications. Mom, what have you done? The board is panicking. Maya, pick up. Dad, you are destroying this family over a petty grudge. Undo this now. Leo, you bitch. You're trying to ruin me. I didn't reply. I blocked them all. 3 months later, I sat on the balcony of my new office. It wasn't a mansion, and it didn't have a lake view, but it was mine. I had used my remaining savings to launch Sterling and Associates, using my own name on my own terms. Most of my old clients had followed me. They knew who really did the work. I heard through the grapevine that the lake house was in foreclosure. Without the merger money, my father couldn't cover the taxes or the liens I'd placed. Leo and Chloe, they broke up the moment the money dried up. Turns out, family legacy wasn't enough to keep Chloe around when there wasn't a trust fund to bleed. My mother sent me a letter last week. It was filled with "We miss you," and we were all under a lot of stress. There was no apology, just a request for a small loan to help them keep their main house. I looked at the letter, felt a ghost of the old guilt, and then I did something brave. I put it in the shredder.